Yo, what is up YouTube? How you doing? It's your boy Zenith, and today I'm bringing you Game Week 4 review. We've got so much to talk about, but I'm going to try and keep it short and sweet for you this time, and we're changing up the process. So we're not going to be talking about the results that much and in depth or in detail. We're literally going to jump into the mini league, who's where in the table, who's doing well, who's not doing so well. We're going to talk about the team of the week, who performed, and we're going to talk about the players that I recommended in the spotlight that did well. Let's jump straight into it. So I'm trying to remember who started from game week 1 and who didn't. So I know that kind of like Charlie, Edgar. I'm pretty sure Kieran didn't start game week 1 either. So they're all our game week 2 starters, which means the man at the bottom of the table is my good friend. 61 points is Vinay at 209 points in total, not doing so well, but I can't say much as Max is sitting at the bottom of the table, joint in points with Vinny at 209. If we now jump to the top of the league, it's getting close up here. There are just 2 points separating first and third, and yours truly is sitting in second with the highest game points of the week, a whopping 91. Bradley's still at the top with 323 points, myself with 322, and Skibby dropped after a poor week of only 48 points this week, dropping down to third place with 321. So let's jump straight into it now. We've looked at the mini leagues and find out who hit our team of the week. So starting off in between the posts, we have Alison. He was given permission to play from Brazil after I advised that he may not be starting, and that was an exemption as not all players were able to play for their clubs. Emiliano Martinez is one example at Aston Villa. So Alison came in, kept the clean sheet for an extra 4 points as well as the 2 for playing. He then made 4 saves, which gave him a save point, as well as getting 2 bonus points on the day as well, bringing him up to a total of 9. Next up is one of 3 defenders, and the first one is Marcel. Now, if you recognise this name, it's because you watched my last YouTube video. Someone I recommended to bring into your team. He's only ranked at 4.5 million, and he absolutely killed it for Wolves this weekend. Not only did he play the full 90 minutes, picking up 2 points, he got 2 assists, which are 3 points apiece, so that's 6. He then kept a clean sheet for another 4 points. He did get a yellow card, however, which knocked him down a point, but then he picked up 2 bonus points as well out of all of the players. If he hadn't got the yellow, he may well have taken all 3 bonus points, but this brought him in at a total of 13 points. Next up is one of the very few players to start every single Premier League game and play every single minute for Pep Guardiola, and that is Jiao Concello. The left back for City has been proving his worth, and he got another 90 minutes under his belt this weekend, where he also managed to secure an assist for 3 points and a clean sheet for 4 points, giving him the maximum bonus from this game of 3, which meant he got a whopping 12 points. Still less than Marcel, though, who I recommended, who's also 1.5 million cheaper. And finally, another recommendation from myself, who most of you should have in your teams, and that is Trent Alexander-Arnold. Like Jiao Concello, he's played every single minute of every single Premier League game so far this season for Liverpool, which means he got 2 points for playing, 3 for the assist that he got, 4 points for the clean sheet, and he also got all 3 bonus points. Very expensive player to have in your team, but is more or less a guaranteed starter and a sure point scorer. So if you haven't got him already, I'd definitely think about trying to get him in your team before his value gets even more expensive. Coming up next are 4 midfielders, and I didn't recommend any of them. However, the midfielders I did recommend did for the most part perform well. The first one is Mateo Kovacich. He started and played the full 90 minutes for Chelsea, as well as picking up a goal, assist and clean sheet as well this week against what was a relatively poor Aston Villa side. He also walked away with 2 of the 3 bonus points, meaning he got himself 13 points. Not bad for a £5 million rated midfielder, but can he keep it up, and will he start week in, week out? And with the Champions League starting this evening, is he going to keep playing in the Premier League games? Is rotation going to become a factor? Who knows? So I did recommend an Everton midfielder, and that was Demarai Gray, who did get on the score sheet for the 3rd week running. So if you trusted me there, that £5.6 million rated midfielder would have returned. However, today it's Andros Townsend's time to shine, as he got himself a goal and an assist in Everton's 3-1 thrashing of Burnley, as they managed to turn the tide after going 1-0 down. Townsend bagged himself a goal as well as picking up an assist, meaning he got all 3 bonus points this week, totaling a massive 12 points. Next up was probably the result shock of the weekend, as Crystal Palace turned over Tottenham Hotspur 3-0, and this man on your screen, Wilfried Zaha, he managed to get involved with a goal assist and a clean sheet. He did have a bit of a scrap at one point as well with Japhet Tanganga, who was subsequently sent off later in the game, which probably caused Spurs more difficulties than they needed. So he did also lose a point when he picked up that yellow card, but he did still secure 2 of the 3 bonus points. So Zaha walks away with 12 points as well. He doesn't have the best fixtures coming up, as he finds himself away to Liverpool before being at home to Brighton and then at home to Leicester. So given his price point at just under 7 million, he's probably not someone you want to lean towards. Can he perform week in, week out like this? Who knows, but maybe one to watch. Next up is Leandro Trossard, as Brighton beat Brentford away 1-0, with Trossard getting the only goal of the game in the 90th minute. I wouldn't get too carried away though, because if we look at the stats for that fixture, there was only 1 shot on target from Brentford and 2 on shot from Brighton, one of which came in the 90th minute, which was subsequently the game winner. So not the most enthralling game. I probably wouldn't go near this asset in the future game weeks. Moving on to the front line, your boy recommended 2 of these players, and the first up is Romelu Lukaku. Chelsea managed to maintain all 11 players on the pitch this week, and that definitely benefited Lukaku, who showed his pace, his strength, his power, his goal scoring ability. He picked up 2 goals this week, maximising his bonus point return with the 3 of them to walk away with 13 points. If you captained this man, you would have had a whopping 26 points. Fixtures look a little tough for the next 2, but probably not that scared of Spurs now that they've conceded 3 to Crystal Palace before they go and play Manchester City at Stamford Bridge, and then they follow that up at home again to Southampton. So there's potential for goals here for Romelu. It's just whether he can convert the opportunities that are going to be gifted to him. Next up, I think I know what noise you're all going to make when this man jumps on the screen, and that is CR7. Cristiano Ronaldo made his return to Manchester United and Old Trafford and did not disappoint, picking up 2 goals, playing the full 90 minutes. He's absolutely smashed it. He walked away with 3 bonus points as well. He's my captain for this game week. Yes, he has difficult fixtures. He's got West Ham next away, but we don't have Antonio, so we have no outlet. We don't have another recognised striker in our team. Then he does have Aston Villa and an Everton side that aren't exactly solid at the back. He then does face an even tougher run after that, but this is Cristiano Ronaldo. Finally, another Crystal Palace player makes the team of the week, and this is a shock. Probably one to monitor to see how Palace's performance go, as he makes his Fantasy Premier League and Crystal Palace debut at the same time, and that is Edouard. He got 2 goals in 6 minutes of playing time. He walked away with 3 bonus points as well, so he got 12 points on the board. So from this week's team of the week, I recommended 4 out of 11 players, which isn't too shabby when you look at the other players I have recommended, which we're actually going to do now, and we're going to look at who I recommended from the spotlight. First up is your goalkeeper, and I recommended Sarr from Wolves. He picked up a clean sheet and made 2 saves, which is 1 save short of getting an extra save point. So this man walked away with 6 points this week, and his fixtures look gorgeous for the next few weeks. As he faces Brentford, Southampton and Newcastle, there's potential for more clean sheet points, as well as potential save returns, as some teams are going to see this as an opportunity for them to get some points on the board in the Premier League, and they're probably going to go for it. Next up was one of my recommendations, which was Andrew Robertson. He's an alternative to Trent. If you have enough money for Robertson but not Trent, he's not a bad shout. He got 7 points this week, keeping a clean sheet, and he actually picked up 1 of the bonus points as well. Antonio Rudiger, very much like Andy Robertson, managed to keep a clean sheet this week. He didn't get any bonus points though, but at 5.5 million, and with Chelsea's upcoming fixtures from game week 7 after they've played Spurs and City, who they could shut out potentially. So that's another 6 points of Rudiger, with fantastic opportunities coming from game week 7. Next up is international England fullback Luke Shaw, who have a clean sheet. My recommendations are flowing in. He did only get 5 points, however, as he did pick up a booking. However, if you look deeper into his stats, his creativity is ranked 3rd out of 204 defenders. So those assists are there. They're waiting to happen. He's putting them crosses into the box. It's only going to be a matter of time before Cristiano or another attacking forward at United finds themselves on the end of one. So definitely keep this man earmarked, and at 5.5 million, you can't necessarily go wrong with him, minus the fact they do have some tricky fixtures upcoming, as you can see on your screen. Now, Luke Ayling was in my recommendation for the spotlight. It wasn't necessarily for this week, but it was more to if you were leaning towards a wild card and looking towards the future. He's only rated 4.5 million, and he only got 1 point this week. Fair enough, they played Liverpool, they conceded 3, so he lost 1 point for conceded 2 of those goals. But look at his fixtures coming up. He's got Newcastle, West Ham and Watford away in the next 3, and that extends to Southampton, Wolves and Norwich after that. Fantastic run up to game week 11. Definitely one to monitor. Just trust me on this. Son is a pretty quick cover off. He didn't play as he's injured, so I do apologise for that recommendation. The injury was more serious than what I thought it was, so if you did take my advice on Son, my bad, I do apologise. Next up's Rafinha. He's in the same boat as Luke Ayling, and this is a man who you want to be looking at from this week onwards up to game week 10, as his fixtures look fantastic. If someone's going to create something or potentially score, it's going to be Rafinha for Leeds. Bamford's obviously at the top of the line as well, but this is what I'm saying. Rafinha is the one who can create those opportunities for Bamford. Mason Greenwood, one of the players I think has the best potential in the world given his age. I think he really can become an absolute superstar in the future, and he gets another attacking return this week. He scored in each of the opening 3 games, and this week he provided an assist to walk away with 5 points. He played 84 minutes again. He's only going to learn, grow and develop more under Cristiano Ronaldo. Like Shaw, like Ronaldo, he does have tricky fixtures coming up, but I still think he's one to have on the radar. His counter-attacking abilities, his pace and his finishing are all superb. He's 7.7 million at the time of recording this. Is that going to go up? Is that going to increase more? Who knows? He is also matched for points with Bruno Fernandes and Paul Pogba. All 3 of them sit at 31 points, and the only person to outscore them in the middle of the park is Mohamed Salah. Mason Mount, well, didn't start, didn't play. Is that because he's being rested for this week's Champions League fixtures? Who knows? Sorry. Okay, I'm going to say sorry again. Dominic Calvert-Lewin has actually been ruled out for even longer now after confirmation, as he was dropped from last night's squad. It's looking like 3 to 4 weeks out for him, so if you do have him in, you may want to transfer him out. And you're probably going to want to look at the guy who's sitting next to him, Patrick Bamford. He's like 0.3 million cheaper than Calvert-Lewin, so that will bank you some cash as well. And you might want to offload Calvert-Lewin before he does take a price dive, as if there's an exodus of him, then you could see his value go from 8.2 to around 8.1, maybe 8 million, depending on how many people take him out. So folks, that's all for this week on the Game Week 2 review. I hope you enjoyed. Remember, this week's preview, so Game Week 5 preview, is going to be dropping on Thursday at around 5:30, 6:30, which is going to give you just under 24 hours to watch it, tinker with your team in preparation for the Friday evening kickoff. So don't miss that video when it goes live. We smashed the last one. We managed to get a lot of the players predicted correctly. I hope you guys enjoy. Until next time, take care and goodbye.